Hello and welcome to Insight Software's webinar on the 6 best practices for continuous planning. My name is Warwick Leach. I'm a Director of Solutions Engineering here at Insight Software, and I've been implementing budgeting, forecasting and financial reporting software for a little over 20 years now. I've certainly implemented some continuous planning projects, and I'll be sharing with you today some of the good, some of the bad, and certainly those 6 tips, those best practices that I've seen make continuous planning projects an absolute success. So a little bit of admin. I'm just going to pop over to the agenda. A little bit of admin. There is a Q&A box or a question box on your screen. Feel free to drop some questions in there. We will try and answer them through the session. I've got a short session at the end of this to answer some questions. And if we can't get to your questions today, I apologize, but we will reach out to you. All right, so the agenda for today, what is continuous planning, and a little bit of why continuous planning as well. That's really important to understand why we want to do it. The 6 best practices for implementing it now. It's not, this session isn't about, well, I've got it up and running, what should I do now? It's all about what you need to do to prepare for your implementation of continuous planning. I'll give you a very short demonstration articulating some of the points that I talk about throughout this session, and the Q&A that I mentioned as well. All right. Firstly, some information about Insight Software. We do have customers here, so some of you already know this. We certainly have some potential customers as well. Welcome along to the session. Insight Software's goal is to help the Office of the CFO make sense of enterprise data in real time. We have a number of different software to help the CFO do that, and today is focusing on our flagship planning software here as well. But that's not the main topic. The main topic is those 6 best practices. Insight Software is a little over 500 million in revenue. You can see the stats here. They're pretty powerful stats. Over half a million users, 32,000 customers, so on and so forth. We are spread all around the world, so I do get the pleasure of working with customers in many different countries. It's a lot of fun. All right, so why continuous planning? First of all, what is continuous planning? Just very briefly, it's a process where you're getting information from hopefully the field, people at the coalface, about what's coming in the future. Typically, it's a monthly forecast, a reforecast. Forecast is the word that we hear a lot. And it's not just forecasting to the end of your financial year, it's continuing beyond that financial year, because the business doesn't stop at the end of the year. So a budget, as you probably know, we plan out our next 12 months. A forecast is often a rebudget, some people call it, done within the period. Continuous forecasting or continuous planning is continually reforecasting, replanning beyond the financial year. So what that means is, for most organizations, it's a reforecast every month, sometimes more often. I've seen planning done twice a week, and it's in very volatile industries like hospitality, for instance. But the main thing is that we have people contributing and that plan is rolling. And there's some awesome benefits from that, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Certainly, why implement it? Well, it's going to drive performance when done successfully. Obviously, I have seen some failed projects, and I will talk about that a little bit today as well. But when done successfully, I've seen those organizations drive revenue and profitability very, very quickly. It's quite incredible to watch. It kind of forces organizations to be hyper agile. Now, that doesn't mean changing your mind every 5 seconds. It means giving the organization the capability, the data, the hard data, information about being able to make changes, looking for new opportunities. Maybe there's a downturn in the market and some cost adjustments need to be done now so we can make hay later. And that removes surprises, which no executive likes to wake up to an email or a call in the morning to find out that there's some disaster that we probably could have done something about had we known about it earlier. And often there are people within the organization who have insight into that. So we need to make sure we get their contribution. Now, there's two overarching important things to consider here. One is people. The organization must embrace the move to continuous planning. It's got to happen at board or CEO level. The projects I've seen fail do not have buy-in, are not driven by the CEO and the board. So that's number one. And it's important that all through the hierarchy, CFOs, CEOs, directors, managers, all of those people are also on board. It's not an overnight process. I'll talk a little bit more about how long it can take to really have an organization embrace continuous planning. But without senior leadership driving it every day, it's going to be difficult to implement. The other thing is technology. Excel just isn't going to cut it for medium to large organizations. You probably, for those customers who have our software today, you know the difference between going from Excel to a tool that lets you do planning. It's an automated process. Tools today are so good that literally while a planning cycle or a budget is taking place, the budget administrator can actually take vacation, can go on holidays. I've seen that a number of times. So automation, technology, and automating that is very, very important. So these are two major factors. If you can't get mindset and get your senior execs on board, pause, try and get that